There is a bit of fixation in leadership teams right now around finding the perfect AI model. The constant debate is whether to pivot to the latest Claude or the newest version of ChatGPT, assuming that the model itself is what is finally going to fix their workflows and make them successful in AI transformation. But we're seeing a lot of teams spend a lot of capital doing this only to get the exact same results. And the reality is that it's not just a matter about the model and how capable the model is. And that is what we will talk about today. I am Emma Muller, and I'm the founder and CEO of Lumiera. And with me today, I have Allegra Guinan, our CTO and co-founder. Welcome, Allegra.
Thank you, Emma.
So today we will talk about harnesses. What is a harness? The specific ways that AI agents fail without a harness, and who is actually accountable when they do. So, Allegra, why is the model only one part of the story, and what is a harness?
Yeah, so before we get into the definition of a harness, which is quite a new term in the space right now, there was this experiment done earlier this year by LangChain, and they took a coding agent that was quite average, and with only harness engineering as the only change, it jumped into the top five globally. So you are able to significantly alter the performance of a model with a harness. So, what is the harness? It's everything around the model. It's the observability, it's the tools that it has access to, it's the secured sandbox environments, the guardrails, and so on. Everything that isn't the model is the harness. So, an easy way to think about this is a model like Claude Opus 4.8. That is only a model, it is a large language model, and it's contained in its capabilities. But Claude Cowork is a harness. There's a lot more infrastructure built around the model that makes it useful and helpful for teams. And this concept of harness engineering has sort of evolved from other terms that came up as a way of addressing challenges associated with building AI agents. So first we had prompt engineering, and then there was context engineering, and then recently harness engineering and loop engineering were coined. And all of them are addressing different types of challenges that you might run into when building agents.
Okay, so harnesses are software essentially that you deliberately build around a model, not the infrastructure that just sits underneath by default, is what I'm hearing. And what does it look like when this goes wrong?
Yeah, so there are a few things that can go wrong with agents that are live in production and at scale. So one of them is called victory declaration bias, which is essentially the agent just deciding that it has been successful. It'll mark a task as done without verifying that it actually worked. So this is quite common. And another one that maybe you've run into is context rot, which is this idea that with really long tasks or long running agents, the amount of context or data or additional information that you've fed the agent will make it start cutting corners, and it will ultimately end up with a worse outcome at the end. And then another really big thing to call out is the security aspect. So those are two failure modes that harnesses address. But then on the security aspect, we already see a lot of organizations deploying agents into production. This is quite the norm at the moment. But at the same time, majority are also reporting agent-driven security or privacy incidents in the last year. So the deployment is outpacing the control. So these original issues that I just mentioned are also compounding and creating these incidents.
Great. And what should leaders actually be doing about this?
So the first thing would be thinking beyond the model, as you said. There's more to it than that, and understanding the implications as well of what that means for your teams. So having a really good, well-performing AI agent that is meeting your business needs is not an out-of-the-box solution. There are additional considerations that have to be put into this, and somebody has to intentionally build those. So understanding that as a baseline, and then addressing the security issue. So treating agents like employees, each of them having distinct identities, considering least privilege access, and having full auditability. So even if you're buying harness infrastructure rather than building it yourself, it doesn't outsource any of these decisions or considerations. So what the agent can touch, what needs approval, how failures are handled, all of that is still in the hands of the leaders of organizations, and they need to be actively involved.
So leaders should treat agents like employees, and the harness is what is setting the boundaries of what this agent can do. So it's essentially also a governance tool. It's not just a technical one, which is what also makes it a leadership call, and it shouldn't just stay in your technical departments. Allegra, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. If you want to dive deeper into harnesses, go to our Substack, where we have a full newsletter and a framework that you can use directly in your organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma. Talk soon.